And hello, everybody. I cannot wait to talk about this. Now, there's been a lot of conversation about will it snow or won't it snow, and I've got the details on that coming up here in just a moment. And also, well, it's going to be cold. In fact, it already is freezing across portions of eastern North Dakota with low temperatures way down into the 20s. Maybe some teens tonight, folks, as it looks like it's going to be bone chilling cold out there. How much snow can you expect? What's changing on the models? I got a lot of questions, a few jabs in the ribs about the forecast, and that's okay. I can take it. I've been here a long time. Let's talk weather. We're going to get started with your forecast right now.
Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for all of your subscriptions and posts and your questions over the days and months and years. And now look at these current temperatures across the region. Nathan, good to have you on board. And by the way, Hutch's weather, it's a two-way street. I want your questions live while we talk. If you're watching on YouTube, say, yo, YouTube, I'm watching on YouTube. Let me know where you are and what kind of weather questions you have. Snow shifting. We're going to go over that snow forecast here in a minute for next week, not for today. There are some changes, but I expect that. I call it weather whiplash. And weather whiplash happens, Simon, and when it does, you can't panic as a meteorologist. The model's going to go through a lot of whiplash back and forth. You kind of stick with the current line of thinking. You look for changes, and we're going to go over all that. But look at these temperatures. Oh, Belcourt, you're already at 28 degrees. Let's go check in on Rolla down here. Rugby 37 as we go in towards Leeds, Churches Ferry, and 34 in Devil's Lake right now. So it's already chilly. Cavalier 36 degrees, 37 in Grafton, 36 for Grand Forks and Fargo, just down to 39. I'm saying, Deb, good to have you on board. Snow, says Simon, with exclamation points times 3. Wait. 3. Hey, good to see you, Roger, from Yuma, Arizona, formerly New Rockford, North Dakota. Thank you for watching from the land of the sand. Gosh, love it. And Rozo is joining. Todd, thank you very much. So a lot of questions on the weather. Thief River 39, 39 Alex, and look at this, 45 as you get down toward the Twin Cities. Along the international border counties, more clouds and showers continuing there on the radar right now, and those areas are seeing temperatures in the 30s. How about out to the west? Look at that. I can't believe it. Look at that. Cooperstown, you got 32 degrees already. Bismarck's basking at 45, 45 out there in Beach, but still not warm enough for that beach towel. Let's take a look at this forecast. Do you want to start? Drop the comment now. Do you want to start with the snow forecast, or are you looking at how low you're going? Because I'm in the middle of the process. I've been rolling my sleeves up, taking breaks, running outside, bringing plants in, unhooking water hoses, you name it. It's all got to be done tonight because we're going to get cold. Look at this. We're already 32 down into South Dakota right now. So these air temperatures are dipsy diving away. And over a week ago on Hutch's 7-day planner, I had those temperatures and highlights for today and for tomorrow. Why? Because I stuck with it instead of weather whiplash where the forecast changes every day. And look at this. We might even be a little colder than what I was thinking tonight in many areas. So a few teens not out of the question, as we're already 28 up there in the Northland. Now, one thing we can use as a tool for forecasting these temperatures is those dew points. What's the dew point? It's how low we can go. We can drop the temperature down to the dew point, but that's it. It won't go any lower than that. And we do have some dew points in the 20s out there. The winds have been gusty today as well. I showed that in my previous version. Mike Salinas wants to start with the snow. Thank you for joining. Thanks for tagging friends. If you tag friends on Facebook, then they can join this live, ask the questions in real time. You want to start with snow? Let's go. I want to start with a look at the national view. Now, the European model started with the snow, and then the American model came in, and the European backed off. And now the European says, I don't think it's going to snow, but the American model says it's going to snow, but it has moved. Listen to me, Minneapolis. Listen to me, Minnesota and Duluth. There's a chance for some flaky weather for you. We're going to look at the USA view of the American model and start there. Now, as we take a look at this, We'll get right to the snow zone out there as we go in. And a lot of you asking me, what's going on for Halloween? Is it going to be spooky? Well, we'll talk about spooky here in a second as we take a look at the forecast. Now, this is the American model, and I'm looking at the run from this morning. I don't necessarily like these 18Z or 6Z runs for you weather people like me, because they don't initiate off of real data in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, and I don't like it as much. Jeremy says, well, the way I see it, we have to start winter at some point, and you are right. We live here, right? Let's get to it. As we head into, look at this, Sunday, see low pressure developing in Colorado. It's called the Colorado Low. Here's why these are the ones that Hutch watches. Really close. Here's a low, and the wind out here in the plains will be from the south. We're grabbing that air right out of the Gulf, and we're shipping it northward. It's like licking a stamp in Texas and Louisiana and mailing something northward. If this low sits here for a couple days, that humid air from the Gulf works its way all the way up into the northern plains. Boom! One branch of this low moves south, and another branch moves right out of Colorado and up to the north. That's splitting the energy, meaning not as strong. Jenny says, here we go. Hold on. Good to see you here, Jenny. Thank you for watching. So, rain in the forecast for Monday midday. This is 1 in the afternoon. Heavy rain, even thunderstorms. And some people say, Hutch, it ain't going to snow. We're going to be in the 50s and 60s. It depends on what side of this storm you're on. On this side, the warm south wind side, you betcha it's going to be wet. You might even see 60 to 70 degrees in many of these areas right here. And I ain't a foolin'. But on this side, that blue line you see there, that's cold. Cold enough for snow, particularly in the nighttime hours. Now, watch what happens with this system, though. It zip, zip, zip dives up to the north, and then a branch of it moves off this way as we go into Tuesday. Meanwhile, Colorado low here, starting to dig, starting to bring some moisture in, and here comes the second band of this puppy, and this is the main Colorado low, finally gets booted out. Look at the line. Likely severe storms, if this pans out, on Tuesday night across the central and southern plains. If you are in Missouri, if you're in Arkansas, yep, that's right, relatives in Pine Bluff, get ready. Some thunderstorms could be roaming through, well, portions of Arkansas, and showers and thunderstorms even as far north as Iowa and southern Minnesota with this type of a system. Believe me, I've worked on dates as late as November 1st where we have a winter storm warning within 50 to 100 miles of a tornado warning. That happened in Bismarck many, many years ago. All right, let's go on. This storm system, do you see that? Cold air in place up north. It starts lifting that moisture over the top of the cold air, and particularly in the overnight hours between Tuesday and Wednesday, a chance for some snow here as it wraps through. Did you see that? Wait, look. I'm telling you, that is some heavy-duty snow there. When you see purples, that's what I would call convective snow. That's the Twin Cities up to Duluth and not in our area whatsoever. That is a huge shift, right, over what we saw the other day. That's going to happen because we're not really in a good place this far out to be too specific with the track of the storm system. Then it moves up towards Hudson Bay, and it's not uncommon for these to park there over the open waters of Hudson Bay and sit and spin. And if that happens, it's going to bring north winds, cold winds, wrap around snow. The northern half of Minnesota seeing some snow potential from that system on the American model. Now let's zoomy zoom zoom, zippity zip zip on in and take a look at how much snow we're talking here with that particular rump roaster there. So as we go through, we're going to see this system roll its way up. There's the Twin Cities. Do I think this is going to happen? I'm not going to bank on it 100%. We'll just watch it. A lot of wind with this snow, by the way, just like yesterday. But it is 100, 200, 300 miles off to the east over what it was yesterday, and the timing's different because that low split. And it wasn't the main low that sat and moved through and brought the snow. It's that one that came up later. So it's a little later, but not less impactful, just in a different location. Now, what that means to Hutch is I'm not going to really knee-jerk my forecast. I think the early half of next week looks unsettled, very wet, and for some of us could be very white and windy. And that is a fact, and it's going to be in the northern plains. I'm not telling you it's going to happen in Fargo, or it's going to happen in Medora, or it's going to happen in Roseau County, but let's just take a look at the snowfall potential and see if it is coinky-dinking with what happened yesterday. So we're looking for coinky-dinking or some sort of a kind of a similarity in the amounts of snow potential with this system as it works its way through. And yes, indeed, Do not pay too much attention to 16 inches up there on the Arrowhead of Minnesota. Simon's pumped. Marvin says, thanks, Hutch, for the weather reports. And thank you, Marvin, for watching. Deb, thanks. All I do is win 31. Says, watching on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Unhook the water hose and hoping to don't have to mow anymore. Yeah, you know, some of us would rather mow than snow blow. All right, here we go. Look at this. Snow all the way down through the Twin Cities, western reaches of the great state of Wisconsin, all the way into Superior out there as well. Now, this stretches back into Roseau County and Lakes Country. I wouldn't get too specific about the location. What we want to kind of take from this, as Hutch simmers it on down, it does look like there'll be a chance for a potential for some pretty significant snow next week, particularly Tuesday and Wednesday. And we'll be watching for it right here. What does the European model say? Let's switch gears just real quickly, and I'll show you that this one just took its big old fat eraser out like we got in second grade in our box of pencils and colored pencils, and it erased it completely, kind of. I say that lovingly. Let's go to the model run from this morning. I don't like the 18Z runs as much. Now, as we get into next week, we're going to see this system come out of, look at this. This is Saturday, one system rolling through the southern plains. Here comes a Colorado low, and boom. This one moves more out of Wyoming than Colorado. Big time change. As it does so, it's bringing mountain snow to Colorado and the northern part up there by Glacier. That's low number one. Looks very similar on Tuesday to the GFS or the American model, but it's in a different track. Terry Wicklaw, thank you very much. And man, you do a great job. Thank you very much for being a part of Hutch's weather and for sharing stars. All right, so this low really stretched out Laffy Taffy style. And notice what's going on in the southern plains. It too has a low developing on the south side. Where does it go? Out to sea and then churning back, not coming anywhere near Minnesota. So the European has really erased that risk for snow. What does this mean? What is Hutch looking for now? We're going to watch the forecast as we go through the overnight. The new model runs will not come out until between 11 o'clock at night and 1 in the morning, depending on how long of a forecast stretch you're looking for. And if you do want me to carry this out just a little bit farther into All Hallows Eve, you can see here that on the night of Halloween here, it looks kind of wet in the northeast United States, wet across Minnesota, maybe white, depending on the time of day, mixing with a few flakes out there. Halloween, kind of a cold north wind with that particular pattern. So that's a look at that. You all asked for it. You got it. That's a look at the forecast for the 24-hour period. Now, how low do we go? We're already on our way down. Now let's talk about your temperature forecast, and let's get to the digits on that. In the morning, you rise and shine. We're going to be in the 20s here in the valley. We'll see some temperatures dipping down into the teens out here off to the west. A few teens, that's right. And we already have temperatures that are in these upper 20s already in Valley City. So this model a little bit too warm already. It's going to be cold. Unhook the hoses. Bring any plants that you want to get a little extra life out with, because we will have some mild weather to still enjoy some of those petunias and plants outside. You just got to bring them in for the night if you can. Don't dig up your garden and bring in a plant that you dig in and it's all muddy. You're going to get in trouble with the better half for that kind of stuff. Don't mess around with that, because I've been in that boat before. Now, north winds out east tomorrow keep you cooler. 30s there, near 50 here in the valley. Warmer out to the west with a little south wind as we undergo some change that's going to bring a nice little warm up. But another cold one in the area on the Thursday morning. We'll be in the 20s in Fargo. We'll have 53 for a high, and then we're ramping it up. Super duper on Saturday. Temperatures in the mid 60s to near 70 on Sunday. Remember what I said? Depends on what side of that low you're on. My forecast for Fargo and surrounding areas is a great chance of rain making its way through. Could be heavy rain out in eastern parts of our viewing area in central Minnesota. We could even see thunderstorms, maybe even strong ones in Iowa. I'll keep you posted. As that system moves past us to the east, there is the potential for some snow in our region. So I have snow west here, and I'm sticking with that. Why? It's called averages. When a system like a Colorado low moves through here, higher terrain gives us a much better chance at seeing snow than that lower terrain of the Red River Valley. So I think we might see the models jump this puppy back to the west and bring us our chance of snow out there. That's just my gut feeling. And it's more often that it happens first out there than here in the Red River Valley. So we will keep you posted. Oh, Terry, thank you so very much again for the stars. Do you have a question? When do you think we'll see our first measurable snow? Andrew, I love the question. Where are you at? Let me know your city so I can get you the best guess that I think, because we can look at that too. And I appreciate all of you, Sharon and Karen, and also making sure that we're all talking on the same channel here. Speaking of all talking on the same channel, Elbow Lake, Minnesota, you're asking. Now, I think because Elbow Lake, Fargo, Fergus Falls, and our areas have a chance at measurable snow. What's measurable snow? Measurable is not 1/100th of an inch. That's for rain. 1/10 of an inch. So if you can stick a ruler in it and measure 1/10 of an inch of snowflakes that have piled up, then it's measurable. I will say that for some, this system coming Tuesday and into Wednesday could bring measurable snow to the northern half of Minnesota and or western North Dakota. Those are the two places that I think have the best chance at seeing some snow from this storm system. There's many more models to look at, and not all of them agree. In fact, many of them are going in way different directions with this storm, which lowers my confidence in any one particular solution. I am just telling you, I think I'm leaving west in it for a reason, and that reason is because out west, we have a little bit higher terrain. There will be colder air there sooner. And if there's any moisture left wrapping around that storm system, then that's where the snow and the blow is going to go. You got it right. Now, you're going to be kissing Jack Frost first thing in the morning, and you're going to want to head on over to hutchesweather.com for the very latest. And you have sent me some awesome photos at hutchesweather.com. Check it out. This is Larry Barksky. And Sherry Barsky shared this photo of Lawrence. I miss you, Lawrence. Good to see you out there, all situated for the rain. Got the rain gear on ready. A little bit of a soggy doggy thing going on there, but he is wet after the walk out there. But you know what? This bird here also something to behold. Look at that. Now, at first I thought, what am I looking at here? It looked kind of like a duck to me. Good thing I guess I don't go hunting all the time. That there is a bird with a big old peanut in his beak. This blue jay leaving the wreath feeder. Thanks again for your Grand Forks shot there, Sherry. A beauty indeed. And it is bonfire season. A lot too windy today. A lot too windy. But look at that. Does that not look like the cozy season we're in? And is there going to be a good bonfire day in the forecast? And we still have some color in and around Detroit Lakes. Thank you for sharing this color on the farm, Julia. Indeed. Look at those tall, are those birch trees out there? It looks like birch or maybe aspen trees that are off in the distance with some beautiful color in front of the pines. And a lot of you sent these photos in of, wow, Virga precipitation that evaporates before it hits the ground. So thanks to all of you who've used Hutch's Weather at hutchesweather.com. Stay tuned. We'll have some big announcements here on Hutch's Weather. I'm excited to share with you. It rained in Minnetonka, Minnesota. Thank you. And so Elbow Lake, when do I think, Andrew, will you see your first snow? Let's take a look together, because what we need for snow is a wet system, and we definitely need some cold air. And here's the good thing. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. I don't know if you're voting for snow or you want a lot of snow, but we're going to look at the temperatures across the USA here from the United States view. And let me pull this over and switch it over to temperatures. What I like to see is some temperatures that are down in the nighttime hours into the 20s and 30s, not necessarily in the daytime hours. And did you know, have you ever been outside on one of those days? West Fargo for Shauna, thanks for watching. Linda, good to have you on board. She's not ready. Have you ever seen one of those days where it's snowing and you look at your car's thermometer and it says it's 38 degrees? Well, that can happen. So we can have snow even though our high is only near 40 degrees. So take a look at this time frame. This is a time frame that low is moving through, and in the overnight we're in the 40s, so there could have been some snow moving through there. Here is a look at where there is cold air. So what I like to see is 30s and a chance for some precipitation. And there is some light precipitation potential in northern Minnesota in and around this time frame. Will Elbow Lake see it? Not as likely as your neighbors in northern Minnesota, and I'm going to say north of Highway 10, and actually maybe even as far north as Highway 200. So when does that leave us with a better chance of snow? Here we go with some cooler air, but look at the warm air pumping up. Do you see this whole red area here? Central Plains warming up. Aha! October the 4th, I'm seeing widespread cold. If we combine that with a little bit of precipitous precipitation, we could be in the talk. So let's say our best chance for some maybe measurable snow for Elbow Lake and parts of southern Minnesota may hold off until the first week or so of November. That looks like some cold air. Now we can get cold air without snow involved here, so we'll just take one quick look at the precipitation in this same time frame here, and we do have absolutely no storms moving through. Here's one down here, but we do have, this is kind of called a stalled stationary boundary here. So we could have some flurries in and around the area. Oh, we'll go to that pixel right there. You see that? That's Elbow Lake in Grant County, Minnesota on November 2nd. So when we get into that first week or two of November, the whole northern plains cools off pretty significantly, and our chances of seeing snow then increase greatly when that happens. I hope that helps. It rained in Minnetonka. Shane, thank you very, very much. Thanks to all of you for joining me on Hutch's Weather. Hey, stick around. I want you to listen to something, and I want you to comment, because I'm coming back on right after this, but things have been a little spooky around here at Hutch's Weather. Hey, take a listen to this, and we'll talk about it right after this.
This has been a Hutch's Weather Update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe if you dare to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching Hutch's Weather anywhere in the moonlight, anytime through the night at hutchesweather.com.
All right, that was fun. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any comments on that. Things are getting toward Halloween, and we are going to see some pattern changes as we head towards Halloween. I'll keep you up to date with the weather anytime, anywhere. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. We'll talk again real soon.